Every piece of clothing has a story, and this one? It's been through a transformation. Once, it had a classic pocket design, clean, elegant, traditional. But after redesigning the outfit, that same pocket turned into a problem. A big tear, right where it used to be. The fabric is delicate, the weave is tight. One wrong stitch, and the whole pattern could fall apart. So redoing the old pocket? Impossible. But here's where creativity takes over. So instead of repairing it the old way, we'll design a brand new diagonal pocket. Stylish, modern, and strong enough to look intentional. Turning a flaw into the highlight of the entire dress. Stay till the end, because this transformation isn't just about fixing a tear. It's about discovering how design can turn mistakes into masterpieces. First, take the front lining of the dress and start by serging or overlocking the raw edge. Then, fold the edge in by about 1 or 2 centimeters, just enough to create a clean, neat line, and sew it down carefully. I'll explain in a moment why this step is so important and what kind of difference it makes in the final look. Here, I'm using the facing from the original design, which already has fabric adhesive on it. So I'm simply stitching the 2 pieces together. But if you've cut a brand new facing, make sure to use fabric fusible interfacing. It helps strengthen the front part of your dress and gives it a cleaner, more professional look. let's prepare the area where the old pocket was. Make sure to smooth out any wrinkles or folds left from the previous stitches. Take your iron and gently press the fabric. This helps to flatten the surface and remove the shape of the old seams. Once it's nice and smooth, align the edges of the torn area carefully and use fabric adhesive tape to hold them together. After that, sew all around the edge with a simple straight stitch. This will keep the fabric strong and prevent the adhesive from coming loose after washing. Take your time. Neatness here makes all the difference later. This lining technique is slightly different from traditional professional sewing. In this method, the bottom edge of the lining is not attached to the bottom edge of the main fabric. And that's the beauty of it, a small difference that makes a big impact. Because if one day you want to make your dress a little bigger, maybe 1 or 2 sizes wider around the sides, this method makes it so much easier. You can simply open the side seams, adjust the width, without having to unpick and redo the entire lining. It's a clever little trick that professional tailors love. It keeps your dress neat, comfortable, and easy to alter whenever you need. And here's another interesting fact. Have you noticed how some fabrics shrink slightly after washing or steam ironing? By keeping the lining and the outer fabric separate at the bottom, this technique prevents the hem from puckering or looking uneven over time. A smart solution hidden inside the seams.